Welcome again to another one of my Adam's Corner videos. I am Adam Long, the host of the Adam's Corner podcast, and I do these videos every couple of weeks or so to let you get a peek at what is coming your way if it hasn't come out already. Some of these titles you probably can already get them readily from your online retailers and such, but some of them are forthcoming, and I just wanted to show you what I'm talking about. This is a supplement to my podcast. I do a roundup each month, and these videos are a way for you to see what I'm talking about. So, got a lot of Kino product here to talk about. New Kino Lorber Studio Classics releases, and we'll start with one of the Kino Cult releases. This is from 1969, The Stewardesses, and this is a 3D film. It has been restored by the 3D Film Archive, and you get an audio commentary by David Del Val and Miles Hunter, a 2006 documentary on the film's production and release, alternate opening sequence, outtakes, Experiments in Love, which is a short film, 3D short film, a 3D glamour short film from 1953, Parisian Life, and a theatrical trailer, a radio spot. I love these 3D releases from Kino Lorber. I have the capability of watching 3D films, and it's just a hoot to watch some of these exploitation films from the 60s and 70s that were shot in 3D, and can't wait to take a peek at this one. I'm sure it won't disappoint. I just love these things. And so The Stewardesses from Kino Lorber Studio Classics. And to round out the releases here, there are quite a few of 4K Ultra HD releases. Actually, one was it was pretty well anticipated. We talked earlier in another video about the Pink Panther films. 4 of the 5 Pink Panther films starring Peter Sellers had been released. The Pink Panther, Shot in the Dark. 4 of those 5 films, rather. Pink Panther, Shot in the Dark, Pink Panther Strikes Again, Revenge of the Pink Panther, and the one that was the outlier was The Return of the Pink Panther, and it has now been released in 4K Ultra HD. They've teased that there's going to be a box set where you can get them all at probably a little lower price than you would by purchasing them separately. For my money, and I know there are some online YouTubers who are quibbling about the quality of these transfers. I think they're pretty spectacular myself. Maybe I'm just not holding them up to the standards that some of these other people who are complaining and quibbling are. But, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I'm just grateful to have these out. Return of the Pink Panther was an oddity because the rest of the films were released from United Artists. And this one was released by ITC Entertainment, Sir Lou Grade. He was a famous British producer who also financed The Muppet Show and the first couple of Muppet movies, I believe, as well. And he was the money behind this film to get it made because there had been a 9-year gap. An 11-year gap maybe it was 10 years. Anyway, it was somewhere around 10 or 11-year gap between Pink Panther films, and Blake Edwards and Peter Sellers both desperately needed a hit, and so they decided to return to the Inspector Clouseau well and do another entry in that series. And well, in the next 5 years, they turned out 2 more films, and so they were quite prolific with these Pink Panther films. And I believe that had Mr. Sellers not passed away untimely in 1980, there would have been more of those. I'm not sure about the quality because I know he and Blake Edwards had a parting of the ways, I believe, and he was going to attempt to do another one based on a script idea of his own. Not sure if that would have been a good idea, but nevertheless, this one is one of my favorites in the series. Not quite as good as the Pink Panther Strikes Again, but certainly has a lot of great set pieces. And there's somehow Universal came to control the rights to this title. Not sure how that happened, but it did. And they typically have good masters of their films. I think this was a 2006 restoration or something. But yeah, this has been taken from the original camera negative, and you get basically all of the archival extras from the previous Shout factory box set that had all of the Pink Panther films bundled together in a Blu Ray set. That set went out of print pretty quickly, but there's no new content here, but at least you get the archival stuff from that set. And moving along, we have the 4K Ultra HD release of Uncommon Valor, starring Gene Hackman. This is probably the earliest film of this type, where you've got a former Vietnam era soldier who decides to go back and get one of his buddies out of a POW camp. This idea was reused many times. Missing in Action, Rambo, First Blood Part 2. You could go on and on and on. This is one of the first films of its type, directed by Ted Kotcheff, and it has an audio commentary here by Steve Mitchell and the producer Cyrus Voris, an audio commentary by Douglas E. Winter, and interviews with stars from the film, Harold Sylvester and Reb Brown, and a theatrical trailer. And I haven't gotten around to looking at the actual transfer of the film, but I'm sure it's terrific because they usually do a splendid job with those Paramount titles that they've licensed. So another one we have here is Runaway Train, the Oscar-nominated film about you guessed it, a runaway train, starring John Voight, Eric Roberts, Rebecca De Mornay, where you have escapees from a prison in Alaska who get stuck on board the train of the film's title. And this was originally scripted, I believe, or at least based on an idea, based on a screenplay by Akira Kurosawa. Would have been interesting to see what would have happened had he directed it. But this has previously been available from Twilight Time as a Blu-ray. And we now have a 4K Ultra HD, and you have a new interview with Eric Roberts. You have archival interview with John Voight and with the director of the film. And you have a 2013 interview with Eric Roberts as well, and a new commentary by Eric Roberts and film historians David Delval and C. Courtney Joyner. So there you go, Runaway Train, the Oscar-nominated film in 4K Ultra HD, back when the Canon Film Group was actually trying to make films of substance before they devolved into what they eventually devolved into. Anyway, another Oscar-nominated, Oscar-winning film, in this case, Ray, starring Jamie Foxx, his Oscar-winning performance. And this is a terrific musical biopic. It hits some of the same notes that a lot of these musical biopics do, but I found it to be quite affecting. I really thought it was very well made. If only such more recent films as Bohemian Rhapsody had been made with nearly as much class as this film, we might have a different story about that one. But anyway, I don't think there are any new extras here except for a new commentary by Dwayne Epstein. There's the 14 deleted scenes from the previous release, the uncut music performances, featurettes, audio commentary by the director. But it's sure nice to have this in 4K Ultra HD. And last but not least of the Kino releases, we have A Bridge Too Far with an incredible cast. You have Dick Bogard, James Caan, Michael Caine, Sean Connery, Edward Fox, Elliot Gould, Gene Hackman, Anthony Hopkins, Harry Kruger, Laurence Olivier, Ryan O'Neal, Robert Redford, Maximilian Schell, Liv Ullmann. You get the audio commentary, a new commentary here by Steve Mitchell and Stephen J. Rubin. And you get archival commentary by the writer of the film, William Goldman. It's based on a novel by Cornelius Ryan, and the theatrical trailer. So this is, this contains one of my favorite film scores. I love the march from this film by John Addison. It is just terrific, and it never fails to put me in a good mood. So anyway, A Bridge Too Far, there's an imprint 4K out there that has a lot more in the way of extras, but it's probably a lot more expensive too. But it's just nice to have a more affordable version of A Bridge Too Far that I'm sure boasts a really good transfer from Kino Lorber. And The Great Smoky Roadblock is an interesting detour in the career of Henry Fonda, where it was cashing in on the trucker craze of the late 70s. And you've got him here with Robert Englund, yes, Freddy Krueger, Susan Sarandon, and Eileen Brennan and Dub Taylor. And basically, he's a trucker wanting to make one last haul before to keep his truck from getting repossessed. And there was a much shorter version of this film. It was cut down to about 85 minutes. This is the full-length hour and 45-minute version. This is an MGM release. They've been putting out some of their catalog titles here. But, yeah, this is, like I said, not a bad film of its type. Written and directed by John Leone. And so we have The Great Smoky Roadblock. And we have a couple of other things here. We have, these are Soul to Soul is a concert film, a legendary 1971 concert film that captured the soul of America and the heart of Africa. And it was Ike and Tina Turner, Wilson Pickett, Santana, the Staple Singers, Les McCann, Eddie Harris. This is the label here is Liberation Hall. Sorry, Liberation Hall. It's kind of small print there. This is a documentary from this. It's kind of a hard to find concert film that captures a really interesting era, and it was directed by the Academy Award winner Dennis Sanders and produced by Tom Mosk and Richard Bach. And there's outtakes here, 4 commentary tracks, 32-page booklet. So yeah, Soul to Soul. As if you're a fan of concert films, and I am, especially of this period. Yeah, this is for you. Randy and the Mob, starring Ray McKinnon and Lisa Blount. Yeah, this is a film that I actually was not really aware of from Lightyear Entertainment. But yeah, this is stars Walton Goggins as well. And 60 minutes of bonus features. It's a screwball comedy that... yeah, one of the old magazines that was published in my neck of the woods over here in Charlotte, North Carolina. They're quoted on the back here: "Creative Loafing, a big-hearted screwball Southern comedy." So yeah, I guess I'll be looking into this 2009 film. The Accountant is another release from Lightyear Entertainment with Walton Goggins and as a mysterious. Ray McKinnon is a mysterious chain-smoking accountant with a knack for numbers. A fondness for beer arrives not just to save the family farm, but to stop a national conspiracy and save a way of life. Anyway, yeah, again, this is a short film. I think it won an Oscar for Best Original. It was Academy Award winner for Best Live-Action Short Film, I believe. But anyway, yeah, The Accountant on Blu-ray. And then we have Joe Dante's 1987 reworking of Fantastic Voyage, starring Martin Short. This is Innerspace in Ultra HD. You know, I don't get the actual Arrow Video proper releases. I get these check discs, but at least I can look at the quality, and it's always, these Arrow releases are always splendid. And so Innerspace is coming your way here in a couple of weeks. Wandering Ginsa Butterfly is another release from them. And Soldier is another one that's coming down the pike here in a couple of weeks in Ultra HD 4K. The Eye is yet another one coming in 4K Ultra HD. And then you've got a couple of releases here from Radiance Films, Confessions of a Police Captain and Romancing in Thin Air. And so those are 2 Radiance Film releases. They put out some interesting product for sure. Well, that was a lot to cover, but I think that catches us up for now at least. Thanks again for tuning in. And if you're watching the video here, like, subscribe, or send a comment. I love bantering it up with those of you who watch what I do and appreciate what I do. And I really thank you for giving me your time to watch these videos. Anyway, until the next time, keep those discs spinning.